Hello everyone, welcome to my video, and my topic today is about educational support for students with dyslexia in Vietnam. Okay, let's go. So for generations of Vietnamese people, they pay great emphasis on the children's handwritings because they believe that handwriting can reflect the characteristic of a good person. So what happens if you have a bad handwriting? They may think that you are sloppy and careless person. You may be a lazy person because you don't practice writing. And you are not a good student because your handwriting is ugly. So as you can see in the pictures here, a teacher used a ruler to point at and whip on a student's face during the handwriting sessions. How about dyslexics? How may the experience in such context? Is really traumatic, abusing, growing up in tears, no empathy, no understanding, struggling at all. So do you want to go to school if you were the person? No, I don't want to go to school because every day at school is a bad day. Here is another story. My teacher whipped me because I wrote slowly. Is it fair enough? Is it reasonable? And is this acceptable? So we can see that in Vietnam, special needs and learning difficulties are extremely unfamiliar topics, and there is little awareness of dyslexia and its impacts on the children's learning. So that's the reason why my presentation today is about raising awareness about dyslexia, and hopefully you understand about it so we can have some demands on the legislation and we create some supportive strategies for our students. By the end of this presentation, you will understand the ideology, inclusive educational practice, and dyslexia-friendly schools. So first of all, let's talk about the definition of dyslexia. To make it easy to understand, we may think dyslexia is the difficulties with reading, writing, and spelling, and learning a foreign language. Okay, and sometimes we can see that is struggling with recognizing common words or understanding what they read. Yeah. For a broader definition, we can see that dyslexia is about difficulties or troubles with language, with organizational ability, with number. Okay, so they cannot listen well or view the information well enough. They had a bad memory. They cannot distinguish the sounds and also the directions. And as we can see that they have reading fluency problems. And I'm going to help you to get a closer look by giving the size of dyslexia. I'm not going to read the 10 things here, but I'm going to show you an example. This is a work by a year 3 student in Vietnam. The student is supposed to write better than this, but unfortunately, he has dyslexia. So this is number 4. He deletes a letter in a word when spelling. We have THIT, but here he wrote TH only. Number 5, he has difficulty copying words. All right, okay, so here we can see Q, but what he wrote is S. It's really different. Number 6, misspells some common words. In Vietnam, here we can see that DAO, but he wrote DO. This is misspelling. Or kind of this TRAI, but he wrote it CHAI. And most commonly, there is a confusion between some similar letters like B and D, like this. BAO, but he wrote DAO. Yeah, this is about dyslexia here. But have you ever wondered why it happens to our children? So up to now, there has been no clear explanation about dyslexia, and the definitions are not universal. So most commonly, we think that dyslexia is something about the brain, something happen in the brain that make the persons have difficulty in reading. But we can use the theories here to have a closer look Okay, so this is a diagram that helps you to easier understand the reason why. Okay, so from the biological abnormalities that leads to a change, a difference in your thinking, in your cognition, and finally, it affect your performance. And sometimes we can see that environment also have an effect in the cognition, just like positive support or negative influence on the thinking. Unfortunately, in Vietnam, this is a great challenge because the child were really confused of what happened. Okay, both parents and the school did not know this is the dyslexia. And even in the public, in the community, there is no discussion about dyslexia in the comments of these articles, but also the stigma. So what is stigma? We are going to the impact of dyslexia. So dyslexia's impact on the academic performance here, which cause difficulty in reading, spelling, writing, and memorizing. And this prevent the person to achieve some academic success. Okay, so as you can see that struggling at school means struggling in life. Okay, the person may lose the job opportunity, the employment, and also the promotion. But more than that, the more important thing here is the stigma. Stigma that makes the person feel that they are stupid. Then they have low self-esteem, lose the confidence to do the things. And also from the society, we have the thinking, the labels like lazy, dumb, disgraceful, comparison with others. So we can see that stigma is worse than the mental illness itself. In Vietnam, there is a need of professional services to help addressing stigma, which affects the life experiences in assessing support. And also disability is commonly considered as a bad curse or karma. Really bad, right? Okay, so to reduce stigma, we have three important thinkings, three important concepts. The first one is comorbidity. So this is an overlap with the other learning challenges. Sometimes because the dyslexic student, they have difficulty in reading, they might find something else. They may run around the classroom, they disturb the other student, or they make noise. Okay, so the teacher may misunderstand this and think that the child is disturbing or lazy. So if you understand this helps you to understand the true facts about the child's behaviors. The next one is ABD. Just have a look at the strengths and also the weaknesses. Okay, when a child they know that they have some strengths, not only weaknesses. Okay, so this create less impact on their feeling, so they feel more confident about their conditions. And the next one is the neurodiversity. So it is about the brain differences are normal. Okay, it's not a deficit. So it's kind of okay. So everyone has different brains, so they have different behavior. So this is not stupid. They are not stupid. This helps to reduce the stigma. Okay, just like Albert Einstein say, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. So in Vietnam, the laws has some improvement, but there is still some gaps, just like the person they cannot access to the service, or there is lack opportunities for them to participate in the community activities. And also at schools, there kind of ignorance or discrimination. And for the medical treatment and also special education, the cost is still high and very expensive. So to improve this, we may have some reference from the Australian laws. So it's all about that it is unlawful for schools or educational providers to discriminate a person. So as teachers, we have to support the people with disability so that they can be successful and achieve their goals. So that leads to the ideas of inclusive educational practice with dyslexia-friendly schools. So we have to make some reasonable adjustment. What is that? It is the action that we take to support the students with disability so that they can fully take part in educational experiences so that they can achieve their learning goals and become successful. And make sure this is a must. This is an obligation of educational providers because this is the 21st century. Make sure that no child is left behind. So here I have some ideas collected from Maureen for the dyslexia. So it's really useful if you use technology to support the student with dyslexia, just like in the pictures. So you can see that pointing at the words and the technology will help the student to listen to it readers here, okay? So, and you may use some visual or audio support the students. For the teachers, you can break down the tasks or simplify your instructions so that it is much easier for a student to follow it and to do it, okay? And to increase their self-esteem when they successful in their learning, okay? And we may also give some extra time for them to read or to write. All right, these are the things that we have just mentioned: the definitions, the size, the impacts, the person-first perspective, and also the explanation of the courses. Okay, my colleagues, what have you learned so far? All right, now let's check. Dyslexia is still an extremely unfamiliar topic in Vietnam. The teachers and parents do not even recognize a common sign. Is a yes. So dyslexia impacts not only on individuals' academic performance, but also on the mental and social life, including the parents and the carer. Yes. Being dyslexic does not mean being stupid. It is just because the brain functions in a different way. This is also a yes. Laws and school policies in particular should continue to be fully developed to protect and support the people with dyslexia. Sure, it is sure, it's a yes. And the teacher should use a more appropriate teaching and assessment method to make the learning more inclusive, of course. And finally, after this presentation, I hope that we will keep on raising awareness of dyslexia to other members of the public so that more people will be helped. Yes. All right. For the conclusion, I just want to borrow the word from Joe. She said that I want to spread awareness about dyslexia in Vietnam. Students with dyslexia are as intelligent as others, and they just need a little help from the community. So as you can see here, this is the disabled population in Vietnam, and the students with cognitive struggling difficulties, it account for 1/4 of the population. Is about 100,000 people. Yeah, okay, so it's a big number. It's a really significant number here. Okay, this is the end of my presentation. Hopefully that you understand more about dyslexia and especially for the teacher, so you have more appropriate methods to support your students. Okay, thank you for your listening. And this is my reference here.